Did he just cut her slash? Okay, so it's impossible for me to know everything about Elden Ring, test every build, use every item, which is why we can go and see what other people are finding out about the DLC. And apparently, a lot of people didn't know about this interaction either for it to get 6,000 upvotes. And it is one of the coolest things I've ever seen in this game, especially like the timing, the use of the Black Blade cutting through. He's at full health. She took the hit. He just cut through her slash. I never even saw that interaction. That's awesome. And the thing is, like, a lot of people don't know about this, but a lot of people do know about this. It does the same as the moon spells, just eats projectiles it touches. Amazing detail I didn't expect from Black Blade. So, like, does this happen in the base game? Is it only certain spells? Does it have, like, the same ability eating interaction? Can you actually use the Black Blade to cut through Radahn? Because the moon spells are insanely useful versus Consort Radhan's meteor attack. So yeah, like initially everyone just went, yo, this is the most unfair, unfun, stupid boss fight that you can't dodge any of the attacks on. And now more and more people, like, not even finding cheese, but just like tech and what you're supposed to do. Which kind of goes into the topic of this video, because a lot of people are realizing the Deflecting Hardtear is busted and necessary for beating the game. And it's also really funny with like the interviews where Miyazaki's like, yeah, I use the Mimic Tier. Skill issue if you guys are crying about our game, because I make it beatable. So we'll go back to that in a second, but yeah, people are like, wait, what do you mean? Ranni's Moonspell eating the meteors? Yeah, they negate magic attacks. And they block other spells in general. And apparently, the Black Blade can do that to some spells. I mostly think about like the golden rings. Like, if you cut through a golden ring, that'd be pretty sick. But I love the interaction, Save My Life versus one of the new Glintstone spells that machine guns the crap out of you, and then we get the frame by frame. It just cuts through it in like the coolest way possible. PSA, Deflecting Hardtear just lets you auto-win against Waterfowl Dance. You still take a little bit of damage, but the Spontaneous Guard applies, and then you block most of the damage, and then that gives you a good opportunity for a counterattack. So the way this tier works is it wants you to time your blocks like in Sekiro or like a parry, which means if you immediately just put up a block as if you're trying to parry, it gives you crazy benefits. If you block right before getting hit, you take less damage and lose less stamina. After blocking, if you immediately do a heavy attack, you get a guard counter. After a successful deflect, damage and poise of the guard counter is increased, and then the tier lasts like 5 minutes, so long enough for a boss. Now, a lot of people crying about wanting this to be a talisman, which I guess it is kind of cool if you could turn your Elden Ring experience into a Sekiro experience, but it's mostly like, well, that's just too easy and then too much power, especially because people are really praising this thing now that it's been discovered. You have to give up another tier effect, and you don't permanently have it as you're just wandering anywhere in the game. But yeah, Miyazaki, please use shield, guys. DLC is harder, so we put a ton of resources to help you tank damage. Pearl Shield Talisman as well. The steel, or the Black Steel Great Hammer, gives a burst of power on guard counters, and we're going to see that in a Radahn fight coming up. So yeah, Deflecting Hardtear is really good. A lot of people discovering that recently. Pearl Shield Talisman gives you non-physical damage negation when shielding, and then guard counters give you a burst of power with a Black Steel Great Hammer. And everyone's just like, nah, I'd rather cry about Radahn being unfair. It gets even funnier the more you look into it. Dude beat Radahn with a saxophone. How did he do it? Great Katana, Deflecting Hardtear only for all you dueling shield haters using a saxophone. Also, New Game Plus. So yeah, if you can't beat Radahn, stubbornness plus skill issue. Let's see what else we have. Martial Arts plus Deflecting Hardtear goes crazy. Full run of this is going to be fun. So I haven't even watched this one. Let's see. Like, you're Deflecting Hardtear on the arts. That's actually really sick. And then you get, like, poise and guard counter stuff. So, he just does that. And then he gets the punches. And then he just gets to keep guarding and punching and doing all of his spinny, kicky, punchy stuff. And a pretty heavy stance break. Let's go. Wow. That does seem really fun. I love Dry Leaf Arts. Put Frost on that for big, dumb damage. Ooh, the Frost build up into, like, more damage. That's kind of interesting. Trying it with Bleed. Don't want to give myself too much at the start, so I'll try Frost when I get the Wet Blade. So yeah, they're doing, like, their own challenge run where they start with it, and then as they unlock things, okay, I unlock the Wet Blade, then I'm allowed to put Frost on it. If you want to see something fun, Palm Blast with Sacred against a Deathrite Bird. New Deflecting Hardtear from Elden Ring DLC makes the Radahn and Michaela boss fight 10 times more fun. And that's what people are saying, like, bro, if you can't beat Radahn, use Deflecting Hardtear and actually play the game. Parry every BS attack, and yes, you can even parry the nuke. That's like one of the big things people are complaining about. Wow, look at that. You just get free parries and tanks on a lot of the attacks. Yo, he just like tanks the aftershock of the gravity. And then yeah, just like using a shield and doing all that other fun stuff, and if you actually get the guard, it's pretty good. And the big one is Commander Gaius' charge. You can just block it. It was that easy all along. The first giant enemy boss that they throw at you in the DLC, you beat it, and then you get like the best hard tier for going through the DLC if you actually like want to play the game. And then he does a guard counter right there with the easy tier counter, and then just does like the super crit and does pretty well. Now, yeah, Furnace Golems aren't free, but it's one of those things where, oh, if you make that one of your first challenges, and there's a lot of tech to the Furnace Golems as well. As for taking out the Furnace Golem, you can actually do it pretty early on, so you need to get like the big hits to make sure you drop it down. This dude did it while mounted, and then that's when you get the crit into the mask and just do like 50,000 damage, and then he throws a hefty furnace pot in anyways. And he practically one-shot it. Enjoy your hard tier. And then people just having fun with it for every fight, so let's see how it goes against Radahn. So it looks like he gets hit on this first one because he still gets knocked back, but he doesn't get knocked down, doesn't take damage. He got the successful guard, he gets the guard counter again, and then that just opens up crits and knockdowns into the end-game boss. Let's see what else people are saying about the DLC. So this is more lore spoilery if you're not ready to get into that just yet, but I think it's funny because it seems like everyone has a case for pretty much every character in Elden Ring now after the DLC. So he found the infirmary to treat the jar people is what he did. He set up 2 tree sentinels to protect the sanctity of his mother's village. He was like an older brother to Radahn, and in this house, Mesmer the Impaler is a hero. End of story. Do you think Mesmer is a little weird about the horn scent? I don't know. I mean, he did lead a large crusade against them for, what was it again? Oh yeah, potting his mother's people. What do you mean he was like an older brother to Radahn? Yes, it's mentioned him and Gaius were like mentors to Radahn. So, that 5-hour lore video is going to go hard when like everything is figured out. Think about how it was said that when the Elden Ring was shattered, those in the Shadowlands felt it too. Mesmer be like that. That video is going to go hard. Take this, you'll need it later. DLC easy mode help. With all the people struggling in Elden Ring DLC, here's a great Ash of War you can get at level 1 in Limgrave. Works amazing on almost any weapon. Ash of War will carry you through basically all the undead enemies in the game, including almost one-tapping the DLC Ghost Dragons. So, Sacred Blade. Use it. Tip, I guess. In case you're wondering what was underneath the Divine Beast Dancing Lion cape, these... I initially saw this boss in the gameplay trailer and went, oh, 2 Omen in a trench coat. I was wrong. 2 Hornsent in a trench coat. It's also funny because I think most people wanted the Dancing Lion to actually be some kind of mythical, crazy, cracked out creature and not just 2 kids in a trench coat. But then everyone's like, yo, look, you can see the feet in the trailer. Like, it's 2 people in a costume. So I think that's a little unfortunate, but now we have this. In case anyone was wondering, Lion's Claw is just that good. So now we're finding more and more ways to beat Radahn, and he just like jumps over all the attacks, or at least like tanks it, where it looks like since you're just in that animation you can't really get knocked down out of it. Immediately staggers and crits Radahn and then goes into phase 2 in like 15 seconds. That's crazy. And also it's like kind of neat because even though this guy has it like figured out, he's doing all these cool things and making it look easy, still takes some hits, can't dodge everything. So that makes me feel a little better, where it's like, oh man, I ate that hit, and I don't think other people are. But yeah, he's just running through and gets another one. So yeah, Lion's Claw is just that good. It jumps over half his attacks, it lets you tank through the other ones, and then you just bring enough potions to not die. And eventually, like, you knock him out of all of his hits. Neat. Bro, he got it again. So yeah, there you go. Hope you guys enjoy the video. We got some highlights, we got some tips, we got some cool things people are finding out about the DLC. This is also what I mean about, like, oh, you know, I guess when you have this and you're already, like, winning the fight so hard, you should just be able to dodge it. Nah, not even he can dodge the nuke, but he still wins. So hope you guys enjoy the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much. Just jumps through that, one-shots him. Or not one-shot him, but finish him off. Yep. Thank you very much for watching. Enjoy.